God says, I am warning you about a person whose name starts with the initial J. Don't get shocked when you hear their name. The name is about to be revealed, so listen to me now before it's too late. Don't skip. There is a reason you are here right now. There is a reason these words are meeting you in this exact moment, and it is not by accident. What you are about to hear carries the weight of divine urgency, and it must be received with your heart open and your spirit alert. This is not simply a gentle reminder. This is a spiritual alarm ringing from the heavens. When God says He is warning you, it means He sees what you cannot. He is protecting you from what you don't even know is forming behind closed doors. A person whose name begins with J has been placed into your path, and the Lord is calling your attention not to stir fear, but to offer you a shelter before the storm even begins to show. If you are hearing this right now, I invite you to type Amen in the comments to affirm that your spirit is listening and not asleep. God is not in the habit of giving vague signs. When He says He is warning you about someone, especially one whose name starts with J, it is not to confuse you but to deliver you from future heartache, betrayal, or even spiritual harm. This is not to make you paranoid or suspicious of every person around you, but to urge you to come closer to Him so He can give you the clarity your heart needs. It's not the name itself that carries danger. It's the spirit and intentions behind the person who carries it. And right now, someone close or soon coming may carry a smile in front of you but a knife behind your back. God sees it all. He hears the conversations you are not in. He knows what is being said when your name is not in the room. There is someone connected to you or being drawn to you whose heart is not aligned with God's will for your life. They may pretend to support you. They may sound kind, act spiritual, or even quote scripture, but beneath their charm is a spirit of distraction, deception, or destruction. God is not revealing this to frighten you. He is revealing this to make you stronger, to give you eyes that see through the surface, to teach you how to pray over every connection in your life and not to trust someone just because they say they love God. This warning is a form of mercy. God's mercy does not always come in the form of blessings and comfort. Sometimes it comes in the form of a wake-up call. Sometimes it comes in the form of hard truth wrapped in divine love. He is pulling back the curtain now because He wants you protected before the damage is done. This person whose name begins with J may already be close to your heart. You may be emotionally tied to them. You may have invested your time, trust, and prayers into them. But the Lord is saying, do not be shocked when I show you who they really are. Do not let sentiment keep you bound to someone I am telling you to walk away from. If your heart is feeling heavy, if your chest tightens when you think about someone whose name begins with J, do not ignore that weight. That weight may be your spirit trying to confirm what your emotions have tried to deny. The Lord does not warn in vain. His voice always carries purpose. Every word He speaks is a seed, and if you receive it, it will protect you, guide you, and free you. But if you dismiss it, if you brush it off as coincidence, then you may miss the very door He is trying to close for your own good. Please, take one moment and tap like if you can feel this word is being spoken directly into your life. This person may not look harmful. They may be close to your family. They may be someone who always seems present when you are in need. They may have helped you, supported you, and stood beside you when others did not. But even Judas ate with Jesus. Even Judas kissed the Savior's cheek. The enemy is subtle, and the people he uses often do not wear labels of evil. That is why the Lord is lifting the veil today. He is not saying this person is evil. He is saying this person is not aligned with His plan for your next season. And if you do not step away, you will be dragged down by a storm that was never yours to carry. It's okay to feel confused. It's okay to feel torn. God understands the weight of letting go, especially when your heart is involved. But peace does not always feel peaceful in the beginning. Sometimes peace begins with pain. Sometimes freedom comes with tears. Sometimes obedience means losing a connection that once felt like home. But what feels like loss is often God making space for what He has been trying to give you all along. You are not alone in this. God is with you. He is covering you, surrounding you, going before you, and watching behind you. His hand is upon you, even when your heart is breaking. He sees every tear you cry in secret. He knows how much you've prayed for clarity. This word is part of your answer. It may not be the answer you expected, but it is the one you need. If this person hasn't yet shown up, then take this as divine preparation. God is giving you a lens to see ahead. He is giving you spiritual radar to detect what doesn't belong in your future. If they're already in your life, then ask the Lord for discernment, not judgment. Ask for peace in releasing what needs to be released. He will give it to you. Do you know why people keep whispering about this 7-second CIA ritual? A leaked brainwave method is spreading quietly and changing financial realities worldwide. Proven by neuroscience, this simple ritual attracts money, freedom, and luxury. If you're seeing this, you're so lucky. Click the link in the comments before it's taken down. Every time God gives a warning, it's because He is planning to release something greater on the other side of your obedience. He does not prune without purpose. He does not close doors just to leave you in silence. If He is asking you to pay attention to someone whose name begins with J, it means He is also preparing someone whose heart begins with Him. You will not be left empty. You will not be alone. You are walking into a new season of clarity, favor, healing, and divine protection. He is fighting battles on your behalf that you do not even see. He is removing people from your life, not to hurt you, but to save you. He is shielding you from private attacks and spiritual traps. What feels like a heartbreak today will be your testimony of breakthrough tomorrow. So hold on. Trust His voice over your emotions. Trust His wisdom over your attachment. Trust His timing even when it hurts. Comment 1111 if you believe God is revealing something to protect you. It is not just about naming someone. It is about opening your eyes to something that has been draining your spirit, silencing your strength, or slowly pulling you away from the path God has carefully laid out for your life. This name carries a weight for a reason, and you are meant to hear it now. Heaven doesn't send alerts unless something unseen is unfolding beneath the surface. There is something behind that smile, behind those conversations, behind that closeness. It is not about suspicion, it is about discernment. God is calling you to rise in spiritual awareness because this person, whose name begins with J, may carry more influence over your emotions than you realize. They may be shaping the way you think, slowly changing your convictions, or even making you question what you once believed without even knowing it. This is not a message to stir chaos, but to rescue peace. God's peace is not passive, it is powerful. It clears out what is not rooted in Him and builds up what is. That's why He is telling you now, before more time is lost, before more pieces of your heart are handed over to someone who cannot carry them with honor. This isn't a small whisper to ignore. This is a divine moment to take seriously. This person may have promised you stability. They may have seemed like an answer to your prayer. But sometimes, what looks like an answer is actually a distraction dressed as comfort. You see the surface, you hear their words, but God sees what you cannot. He sees their future, their motives, their heart. And if He is speaking a warning, it is because there's something He is trying to shield you from. something that could delay your purpose or disturb your peace if you allow it to stay. Sometimes God will use small, unsettling feelings in your spirit as early signs. You'll feel uneasy after talking with them. You'll sense your prayer life weakening. You'll start feeling distant from God without understanding why. These are signs. Not because you are weak in faith, but because the spirit inside you is reacting to something that doesn't align with your calling. Don't ignore it. Don't explain it away. These are not overreactions. These are your spirit's cries for protection. If you've been praying for a sign, for confirmation, for guidance, this is part of your answer. You didn't just stumble across these words. This is a divine appointment. This is God stepping into your life with clarity, because the enemy is subtle, and he often wraps danger in familiarity. That's why someone whose name starts with J can seem harmless. But God is asking you to look deeper, not with your eyes, but with your spirit. It's not about cutting people off recklessly. It's about bringing every connection in your life before God in prayer. Let Him show you what is healthy and what is harmful. Let Him reveal who has access to your heart but shouldn't. You were never meant to carry the weight of wrong connections. You were never meant to carry the guilt of letting go of what God is asking you to release. Freedom begins with obedience, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's painful. Sometimes, the people you want to keep are the very ones God is trying to remove, and the longer you hold on, the heavier it becomes. Your peace begins to fade, your focus starts to drift. You begin to compromise parts of yourself to keep what feels familiar. But the Spirit of God is speaking now. He is calling you out from under the shadow of confusion and into the light of clarity. He is calling you to trust Him over your feelings. If you keep holding on to what God is trying to separate you from, you are not just delaying your healing, you are delaying your destiny. Because every wrong attachment is a weight, and every weight slows down your purpose. That is why God speaks with urgency, not to control you, not to take from you, but to realign you with the life He designed for you. One where peace flows freely, one where joy returns without effort, one where your spirit feels light again. Comment 222 if you trust this word and believe God is guiding you right now. God is not asking you to go through this alone. He is right beside you in the process. He will give you strength to step away. He will give you wisdom to handle the emotions. He will give you comfort when the silence feels too loud. And He will fill every empty space with something far greater, something holy, something healthy, something that nourishes your soul instead of draining it. You are not being punished. You are being protected. This isn't rejection. This is redirection. God doesn't remove people out of your life to leave you alone. He does it to make room for what is truly from Him. He is not cruel. He is careful with you. You are His child. You are His treasure. And He takes it seriously when someone tries to distort your purpose or disturb your peace. Why was this 7-second brain ritual hidden for so long? A leaked CIA document exposed a technique so powerful people are canceling debt and calling in wealth within days. Validated by 4 neuroscience labs, it helps attract money like never before. But this page may not stay online for long. Click the link in the pinned comments before it disappears forever. So if the name J has stirred something in your spirit, pay attention. If these words feel like they are piercing through confusion and finally giving language to what you've been feeling, do not run. Sit in this truth. Let it wash over you. Let it break what needs to be broken and rebuild what needs to be restored. The healing process may begin with tears, but it will end in power. You are walking into a season of clarity, of healing, of divine pruning and divine placement. God is not just taking things away, He is positioning you for something better, something lasting, something that aligns with your prayers and your future. You won't have to fight to be seen. You won't have to question if you're being used. You won't have to guess someone's loyalty. What God sends will carry peace, not confusion. It will come with truth, not manipulation. So hold His hand now, trust His voice, lay down every fear, every doubt, every attachment, and say yes to the pruning. Say yes to the redirection. Say yes to the protection. The name J may have been a part of your story, but it doesn't have to be a part of your next chapter. Let God write it new. Let Him fill the pages with what is holy and safe and meant for you. He is not done yet. He is still protecting you, still pulling you close, and still clearing the way ahead of you. What He began in you with that warning about the person whose name begins with J is not just about identifying a person. It is about identifying the hidden battles and silent traps the enemy has tried to use through relationships and connections to keep your spirit weary, your faith shaken, and your destiny delayed. When God gives a warning, it is a divine strategy to reroute your path before damage can settle in. This person may have been sent into your life as a lesson or as a distraction that looked too close to a blessing. That is how deception works. It does not announce itself loudly. It weaves itself in gently, through trust, through closeness, through need. But the longer you stay attached to what is not sent by God, the more you begin to adapt to it, normalize it, excuse it. That's why He is still calling your attention, because He is breaking the cycle that tried to disguise itself as love, loyalty, or even help. Your life is too valuable. Your calling is too important. Your purpose is too significant to stay connected to something or someone who doesn't carry God's peace. Peace is not something you beg for. Peace is not something you have to fight to keep in a relationship. Peace is the fruit of being aligned with God's will. And if you constantly feel uneasy, burdened, or spiritually drained around this person, that is a loud confirmation that something is wrong beneath the surface. You don't need to wait until it all falls apart. You don't have to wait until betrayal breaks you or disappointment shakes you. God is giving you a gentle but urgent chance to move now, to trust Him enough to walk away before things collapse. It may hurt, it may feel like loss, but walking in obedience always leads to greater strength and deeper peace. You may have convinced yourself that this person is harmless, or that you can change them, or that if you keep praying long enough they'll shift. But the Lord is saying clearly, some people are not your assignment. Some people were never meant to stay beyond a season. Some people are there only to teach you the weight of discernment, not to walk with you into your destiny. You don't need to carry the pressure of trying to fix what God never told you to keep. If you've given someone multiple chances, offered forgiveness repeatedly, and still find yourself feeling smaller, heavier, or more confused every time they step into your space, then you are not walking in restoration, you are walking in emotional captivity. And the Lord, who loves you too much to leave you bound, is stepping in with this warning to break the invisible chains that have been wrapped around your trust and your time. Comment 333 to declare your faith that God is breaking what needs to be broken and making you whole again. Every moment you spend wondering if you are overreacting, if you're being too harsh, or if maybe you misunderstood God, is a moment where the enemy can plant seeds of doubt to keep you tied to what is draining you. But you were never created to second-guess the peace of God. When God speaks, confusion flees. When He gives you a warning, it is wrapped in light. You may not understand everything yet, but your spirit knows truth when it hears it. That stirring in your heart, that sudden stillness, that tightness in your chest, it's not fear, it's recognition. Your spirit knows what your emotions have tried to quiet. You've been strong for too long, trying to hold everything together, carrying the weight of someone else's inconsistencies, their mood swings, their silence, their manipulation, their sudden disappearances, their spiritual emptiness masked as kindness. But God is saying, you do not need to carry that anymore. That's not your burden. You are not the fixer. You are not the healer. You are not the one who holds everything together. God is. And the moment you step out of the way, He will step in with healing. Sometimes God allows distance to grow between you and a person because He is giving you space to breathe again, to think clearly again, to hear His voice without interruption. He is not being cruel. He is being kind. And if you feel like things are starting to fall apart, don't panic. Sometimes it's not falling apart. Sometimes it's being pulled apart for your protection. God is saving you from what you were too afraid to walk away from on your own. Can 7 seconds really change your bank account? A CIA-funded study just leaked, revealing a brain ritual that flips lives from broke to blessed. 4 neuroscience labs confirm it activates powerful wealth brainwaves. People are stepping into dream homes and luxury lifestyles. But this breakthrough won't stay online for very long. Click the link in the comments before it's deleted. This is where you begin to reclaim your peace. This is where your spirit begins to stand again. You are not weak for walking away. You are not unloving for setting boundaries. You are not disobedient for listening to God instead of your feelings. You are growing. You are maturing. You are learning what it means to be led by the Spirit, not swayed by the soul. You will not always understand why God asks you to release someone, but you can always trust that His reasons are rooted in love. He sees the damage ahead, and He steps in now, so that you don't have to cry the kind of tears that leave permanent scars. God is saving you from deeper heartbreak, and He is leading you to a version of yourself that is strong, joyful, whole, and deeply in tune with His voice. You are walking into new territory, and this person cannot go with you. That's not rejection, that's refinement. God is preparing a place for you that requires your heart to be whole, your mind to be clear, and your spirit to be light. Anything that clouds your discernment, clutters your peace, or competes with your intimacy with God cannot come. There is something greater coming. A new wave of blessings that you won't have to force. Relationships that feel like rest, not survival. Conversations that build, not drain. People who pray with you and for you, without hidden motives. A life that reflects God's favor, not just in what you have, but in who you become. And for all of that to flow freely, God is clearing the path. He is removing the people who were good for the past, but poisonous for the future. You have cried, you have wondered, you have waited, but now God is answering. Not in the way you expected, but in the way that truly matters. With truth, with protection, with a new beginning wrapped inside a warning. The warning about that person whose name begins with J wasn't random, it wasn't vague. It was a sacred alert, straight from the throne of grace, reaching you in time before something could take root that wasn't meant to grow in your life. Some of the deepest wounds don't come from strangers. They come from the ones we let close, the ones we trusted, the ones we opened up to when our hearts were tired and vulnerable. That is why this warning has weight. That is why the Holy Spirit is pressing you to not ignore what has been revealed. God is not calling you to paranoia, but to wisdom. Not to fear, but to freedom. Not to anger, but to alignment. There's a cleansing happening in your life, and with it may come confusion at first. You may find yourself trying to understand why this person came, why they seemed so genuine, why you connected so deeply. But not every connection is from the Lord, and not every deep feeling is divine confirmation. Sometimes the enemy sends people too. Sometimes they come not to push you toward your destiny, but to distract you just long enough to delay it. You were never meant to carry the cost of someone else's chaos. You were never created to fix what God never told you to hold. When God warns, He's not telling you to hate someone, He's inviting you to guard your peace. Because not everyone who enters your life comes with the intention to leave you whole. Some come carrying spirits that whisper lies, drain joy, and create spiritual fog. They speak in ways that sound right, but the fruit of their presence is confusion, exhaustion, and a slow fading of your spiritual clarity. That's why God is pointing out the name, not for drama, for discernment. And if you're reading this and thinking of someone specific, someone whose name begins with J and something doesn't sit right in your spirit, that is not your imagination. That is divine confirmation. God is peeling back layers you've been too tired or too afraid to look at. He's showing you that just because someone says the right things does not mean their spirit is right for your journey. You can love them and still walk away. You can forgive them and still protect your heart. You can pray for them and still obey God when He says to create distance. There is strength in surrender. There is power in obedience. There is peace in listening when heaven speaks, even if your heart isn't ready to let go. You may feel like something is being torn from you, but the truth is, God is pulling out a weed that would have choked the very roots of what He's trying to grow in you. He is not punishing you, He is purifying you. He is not removing love from your life. He is removing the imitation of love that tried to disguise itself as safety. Comment 555 if you believe that God is cutting off what was never meant to continue. Your heart may be grieving. You may feel the ache of letting go before the final goodbye has even happened. That's okay. God sees your tears. He feels your sorrow. He hears the quiet cries that echo in your mind when no one else is around. But He is closer than the pain. He is healing as He is revealing. He is covering you even as He asks you to release. He will not leave you in this space empty. He will not allow your obedience to end in loneliness. The person whose name begins with J might still try to speak into your life, might still try to convince you that nothing is wrong. But when the Holy Spirit speaks, let that voice speak louder than charm. Let God's peace rule over empty promises. You are not being too cautious. You are not being overly sensitive. You are finally seeing clearly, and the clarity might hurt at first, but it will free you. Every time you obey God's warning, you are stepping deeper into protection. You are closing the door the enemy tried to keep open. You are declaring that your life, your peace, your future belongs to God, not to anyone who is pretending to belong beside you. It takes courage to walk away from someone you once prayed would stay. But God is honoring that courage, and He is replacing sorrow with strength. Could this 7-second CIA brainwave trick be your fastest path to luxury? Leaked research reveals a simple ritual helping people attract wealth effortlessly. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, debt is dissolving and abundance is showing up fast. If you're seeing this now, you are God's chosen one. Click the link in the comments before it disappears. You will not miss what was never meant for you. You will not regret listening to God. You will not be left behind. The very act of letting go becomes the soil for what God is about to grow. The enemy wanted you tied to a distraction, so you'd be too drained to step into your purpose. But the Lord is breaking that assignment right now. He's tearing down every spiritual agreement that was made in confusion, every soul tie that was not birthed in Him, and every bond that has been weakening your walk instead of strengthening your faith. You are being rebuilt. You are being restored. You are being prepared for what's next. God is not just warning you about one person. He is teaching you how to walk with new eyes, how to listen with new ears, how to live with a guarded heart that stays open to His Spirit but closed to compromise. You are being sharpened, strengthened, made whole. This is a new season. You are stepping into it lighter, freer, clearer. The name J may have been connected to a chapter in your story, but it does not have the power to shape the ending. God holds the pen, and He is writing beauty from the ashes. He is turning warning into wisdom. He is turning heartache into healing. He is turning this moment of letting go into a future full of favor, filled with divine appointments, healthy relationships, and peace that can no longer be stolen. The warning He gave you about the person whose name begins with J is not just a moment, it's a turning point. It's a shift in the atmosphere of your life. It's God saying, I love you too much to let this keep growing in your life. There is a sacredness in divine interruption. When God steps in and points something out, especially someone, it means He is rescuing you from something that would have cost you more than you knew. This is not just about a relationship. It's about what that relationship represents. It's about the subtle erosion of your peace, the slow dimming of your light, the quiet shift in your focus. You were meant to shine, to move with clarity, to walk in spiritual authority, but something tied to this person has been keeping you low, uncertain, hesitant, and emotionally fragile. God is not being silent anymore. He's not allowing your spirit to stay restless in confusion. He's calling it what it is. He's naming what has been nameless for too long. The warning is not to shame you, it's to free you. You've been feeling it. You've noticed how your energy shifts when they call, how your heart sinks after your conversations, how your prayers feel a little harder to pray when their presence lingers in your life. That is not coincidence. That is God raising a flag in your spirit, and you can no longer afford to silence it. He is bringing you to a place where your heart will no longer tolerate what your spirit can't agree with. The alignment is happening now. This is why the pressure has increased. This is why things have felt heavy lately. You are shedding what doesn't fit the next season. It might feel painful, but it is deeply necessary. Some relationships are spiritual assignments from the enemy, sent to consume your time and distort your discernment. They feel intense, urgent, almost addictive, but they leave you empty. The person whose name begins with J may not even be aware of how deeply their presence is affecting your spirit. This isn't about blaming them. It's about protecting you. God is not trying to destroy their life. He's trying to preserve yours. You have the right to say no. You have the right to walk away. You have the right to end conversations that drain your peace. You have the right to guard your heart with fierce protection, because it is the wellspring of your life. And right now, God is giving you the green light to let go. You will not fall apart. You will not be alone. You will not live with regret. Obedience always brings peace, even when it first comes wrapped in sorrow. Comment 1212. If you're believing God is fighting for you even when it hurts. There are times when clarity doesn't come with lightning and thunder. It comes with a soft whisper, a shift in your heart, a holy discomfort. It doesn't always look like a dramatic betrayal. Sometimes it's just the realization that someone no longer fits the version of yourself that God is shaping. You're growing, you're awakening, you're becoming stronger, and not everyone is meant to walk beside that version of you. Don't feel guilty for needing space. Don't feel guilty for choosing peace. Don't feel guilty for walking away from a name that once meant something deep to you. That name does not carry the same weight in this new season. God is redefining what belongs in your circle. He's purifying your environment. He's drawing a line around your heart and saying, only what I approve can enter here. This is not about being cold, it's about being covered. God wants your next season to be filled with divine clarity, not emotional chaos. He wants your ears to hear His voice without the noise of manipulation. He wants your heart to love from a place of strength, not from survival. You are stepping into days where your peace will not be borrowed, it will be constant. Where your joy will not depend on someone else's approval. Where your love for God will not be dulled by someone who refuses to grow spiritually. You are becoming everything He saw in you when He formed you. But to become that version, you must release what tried to dim it. This is not easy, but it is holy. This is not fast, but it is worth it. What's really behind the 7-second brain trick exploding online? A leaked CIA ritual is turning heads and bank balances. Backed by neuroscience labs, this at-home method removes money blocks and unlocks unstoppable wealth flow. But the page could vanish any time. Click the link in the first comment before it's permanently deleted. You may still think about them. You may still feel tempted to go back, but remember what God said. Remember the warning. Don't confuse comfort with calling. Just because it feels familiar doesn't mean it's God's best. He's doing a new thing now, and it will require a new level of surrender. Let Him keep molding your heart. Let Him pull you into the quiet places where healing runs deep. Let Him be your safety when everything else feels shaky. His presence is not just near, it is surrounding you, and it will never leave you. The pain you feel now is the tearing of old roots that were planted in the wrong soil. God is uprooting them because He wants to plant something new, something lasting, something grounded in Him. You're not being emptied, you're being cleared for something sacred. The days ahead will be brighter. You will smile again without heaviness. You will trust again without fear. You will love again without losing yourself. God is redeeming every part of this. Nothing will be wasted. Not the tears, not the confusion, not the silence. All of it is being used to make you stronger, wiser, and more full of Him. Stay close to His voice. Let this part of your journey be where everything changes. Where the warning leads not to worry, but to wisdom. Where the letting go makes room for the real thing. Where your faith deepens because you trusted God even when it didn't make sense. He is proud of you. Even now. For listening, for staying, for receiving, for allowing Him to speak to the most guarded parts of your heart. You are not weak, you are being refined. You are not broken, you are being rebuilt. The person with the name that starts with J may have played a role in your story, but they do not write the ending. God does. And He is writing something beautiful. A sacred transformation. A journey out of what tried to hold you down and into what heaven has prepared for you. The warning about the person whose name begins with J is still active, still intentional, still full of God's mercy. You may feel like you're walking through this alone, carrying the weight of a decision that your heart doesn't fully understand yet. But God is with you in every step. He is closer than the breath in your lungs, and He is walking beside you through every tear, every silence, every lonely night that has come from obeying His voice. When God reveals someone's name, it's never for gossip or curiosity. It's because something connected to them could cost you your peace, your time, or your purpose if you allow it to stay. You've carried burdens that were never yours. You've been loyal to people who didn't value your loyalty. You've kept showing up, hoping it would finally feel right, but the weight only grew heavier. That was never God's will. He never asked you to lose your identity trying to hold on to someone who couldn't carry your heart with care. This person with the name starting with J may not be malicious, but they are not meant to follow you into what's next. And God is giving you the strength to accept that, even if your emotions are still catching up. Some storms don't come from outside, they come from within. Confusion, doubt, hesitation, the war between obedience and attachment. But your obedience is sacred. It is the evidence that your faith is real. Every time you choose to walk away from something that does not bring you peace, heaven celebrates. Every time you trust God more than your feelings, angels surround you. You may not feel strong right now, but you are. You are walking in the kind of faith that cannot be faked, the kind that says, God, even when it hurts, I will still follow your voice. This is what spiritual growth looks like. Not the easy praise when everything is clear, but the trembling yes in the middle of heartbreak. God honors that yes. And because you've chosen it, He is getting ready to restore you in ways you didn't even pray for. The door may be closing on someone, but 1,000 new doors are opening in heaven on your behalf. Favor is being released over your life because you trusted His warning. Comment 777 if you believe that divine restoration is coming for every broken place. The enemy thought that connection would wear you down. He thought it would slow your prayer life, steal your confidence, and wrap you up in so much emotional confusion that you wouldn't have the strength to move forward. But God interrupted it. He sent His word to you. He disrupted what was quietly draining you. That is the power of His love. He doesn't wait for disaster to strike. He warns you before it even starts. That is how precious you are to Him. Let that sink in. You are so loved by God that He stepped into your timeline to speak directly to your situation. That is not ordinary. That is not casual. That is divine protection. You are chosen. You are covered. And what you've lost is nothing compared to what you are about to gain. The road ahead is not just about moving on. It's about being made new. You will not come out of this just slightly better. You will come out whole, healed, refined by the fire but not burned. Everything that hurt you will lose its power. Everything that confused you will make sense in time. You may not see the full picture now, but God does. He sees the version of you that is thriving, laughing again, walking in strength, surrounded by people who pour into you with sincerity and love. The person whose name begins with J was part of your path, but they are not part of your future. Release them, bless them, but do not follow them into spaces God has told you to leave. There is something new being born in you. You can feel it, the shift in your spirit, the quiet boldness rising in your chest. That's not you being dramatic. That's the Holy Spirit awakening something that's been buried for too long. The secret ritual they never wanted public is finally out. A 7-second brain technique backed by leaked CIA data and 4 neuroscience labs is helping families erase debt and attract money on autopilot. But this miracle won't stay public long. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's gone forever. No more shrinking. No more dimming your light to make someone else feel comfortable. No more apologizing for your growth. No more second-guessing yourself because someone couldn't recognize your value, what they couldn't carry. God will place in the hands of someone who will see you as a gift, not a burden. Someone who honors your soul, not just your presence. Someone who is led by God, not just attracted to your kindness. You are stepping into a new atmosphere where peace is natural, not forced. Where love flows freely, not conditionally. Where you don't have to fight to be understood, because what is from God brings harmony, not chaos. You are being prepared for this even now. God is molding your heart, healing your thoughts, reshaping how you see yourself. And soon, you will look back and see why this warning was the beginning of your breakthrough. There are no wasted seasons with God. Everything you gave, every prayer you prayed, every moment you believed, He saw it all. He caught every tear, He counted every sacrifice, and He is returning it to you in the form of joy, peace, and protection. You will see the fruit of your faith. You will live to walk in the full circle of restoration. You will feel the reward of choosing God over comfort. So don't turn back. Don't let your emotions silence the voice of God. Don't allow guilt to convince you that you're wrong for protecting your heart. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep believing that the one who warned you is the same one who will rebuild you. When God first warned you about a person whose name starts with the letter J, it wasn't a suggestion, it was a divine interruption. It was your Father stepping in, not just to remove someone, but to rescue you from a future that could have left your spirit broken, confused, or delayed in purpose. When God removes, He also restores. When He warns, He also prepares. And right now, He is still preparing you for a greater season where His presence will not only protect you, but promote you into places of deeper peace and joy. This isn't just about detaching from a person. It's about stepping into who you are when you're not constantly shrinking to make others comfortable. It's about becoming bold again, free again, spiritually awake again. The person whose name begins with J might not have appeared dangerous. They might have even been someone who made you feel seen when you were feeling invisible, or heard when the world grew silent. But even comfort can be deceptive when it leads you away from God's voice. Even familiar souls can carry harmful patterns, and even the kindest face can hide misalignment if it's not guided by the Spirit. This is why God spoke up. This is why He disturbed what you were trying to hold together, because He saw what you couldn't. He saw what was forming in the unseen. He saw the effect it would have on your mind, your prayer life, your joy, and your future. And because He loves you too much to stay silent, He put this message in your path at this exact time to help you walk away while your heart still had time to heal. You are not being punished. You are being preserved. This detour is not a delay, it's divine protection from a deeper level of damage you would have faced if you stayed too long. God is not breaking your heart, He is breaking a chain. That person was not your foundation. They were not your source. They were not the one who could carry the weight of your calling. God is. And He will always make sure that anything that threatens your walk with Him is exposed and removed, even if it hurts. Comment 999 if you believe God is protecting you from what your eyes could not yet see. Your obedience to release this person is making room for something greater. Don't believe the lie that you'll be left empty or forgotten. That's not who your God is. He is the God of overflow, the one who promises to give beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, and strength for heaviness. He is not just removing someone from your life, He is filling your soul with a strength and clarity that will carry you through the next chapter without fear. Let Him do the work. Let Him go deep. Let Him touch the places that have been bruised and uncertain. There is healing taking place right now that you may not even feel fully yet, but it is happening. Slowly, gently, steadily. God is restoring every piece of your heart that this connection tried to fracture. He is bringing back your trust. He is restoring your peace. He is showing you how to be whole again. And as He does this, He is also raising your standards, not just in relationships, but in how you see yourself. No more entertaining people who speak sweet words but bring spiritual confusion. No more welcoming people who take and take while you pour out everything you have. No more allowing your spirit to be tied to someone who doesn't feed your faith or value your presence. You are more than someone's temporary comfort. You are more than someone's second choice. You are a child of the Most High God, covered by His presence, called by His name, and created for more than survival. You were made to walk in power, to stand in peace, and to live in the kind of joy that cannot be shaken by who stays or who leaves. The Holy Spirit is rewiring how you see connection. You'll begin to feel the difference between what feels good and what is truly right. You'll be able to discern what aligns with your soul and what just flatters your emotions. That's what happens when you walk away in obedience. Your discernment gets sharper. Your confidence in hearing God gets louder. Your sense of worth begins to anchor in truth instead of approval. Is this leaked CIA ritual the missing key to your financial breakthrough? A once hidden brain ritual is spreading fast. This strange 7-second method, confirmed by elite neuroscience labs, activates your brain's wealth magnet. The government may shut this down. If you're seeing this, you are God's chosen child. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted. That person with the name that starts with J may still try to reach out. They may still try to keep a door open in your heart. But the Lord is saying clearly, do not go back. Do not revisit what He has closed. You are not obligated to return to anything God had to rescue you from. What they were in your life no longer fits who you are becoming. And just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's faithful to your future. Don't let your loneliness deceive you. Don't let your memory of the good moments cloud the truth of the whole story. You were not at peace in that connection. You were not growing. You were constantly shrinking, second-guessing, overcompensating, and holding yourself back. That is not love. That is bondage. And God is breaking it now. He is breaking soul ties. He is breaking emotional strongholds. He is breaking the cycles of silence, confusion, and compromise. He is giving you back your voice, your vision, your power. You are walking lighter, freer, stronger. You may feel the weight of what you left behind, but soon you will feel the lift of what you're stepping into. This is the season of your rising. The mourning is ending. The confusion is clearing. The chapter is closing. And a new one is being written, one that starts with healing and ends in purpose. What once felt like heartbreak will become your most powerful testimony. You will be able to look back and say, that warning saved me. That moment changed me. That loss led to everything I never knew I needed. Because when God reaches into your life and begins to remove what's secretly been harming you, even when your heart is still attached, that's not just intervention, it's divine rescue. The person whose name begins with J may still be lingering in your thoughts. Their presence may echo in your memories, in your quiet moments, or even in your prayers. But just because something lingers doesn't mean it belongs. Just because a part of you still wonders doesn't mean you made a mistake by letting go. God does not speak warnings without purpose. And when He said to be cautious, when He brought this name into focus, it wasn't for shock, it was for salvation. It was so you could finally see the truth that your spirit has been trying to show you all along. So much of the pain we carry isn't from the people who leave us, it's from the weight of holding on too long. And God, in His mercy, is cutting those cords before they become chains. The more you trust Him, the lighter your heart will feel. There will be a day you'll wake up and the ache will be gone. The silence won't hurt anymore. The absence will feel like peace. That day is coming, and it's coming sooner than you think. Comment 1010 if you believe God is setting you free completely from the past. You may not have received closure from them, but you will receive closure from heaven. You may never hear the apology, the explanation, or the truth from their mouth, but God has already revealed everything you need to know. He has shown you what was hidden. He has confirmed what you felt but couldn't put into words. That's more powerful than any conversation could ever be. His truth brings finality. His voice brings peace. Let yourself rest now. You've cried, questioned, hoped, doubted, and tried to make sense of everything. But some things will never make sense through human understanding. That's why God gives us peace that surpasses all understanding, a kind of peace that doesn't need every answer, a kind of peace that lets you exhale without needing everything to be explained. This healing is not just about moving on, it's about moving up. You are rising in your faith, rising in wisdom, rising in how you protect your heart. You are stepping into a space where your spirit leads, not your emotions. You are learning to walk with God even when it costs you comfort. That kind of obedience is rare. It is costly. And it always leads to favor. You will never have to shrink again. You will never have to pretend to be less just to make someone stay. You will never again allow someone to have access to your soul who does not honor what God has placed in you. The warning about the person with the name beginning with J wasn't just about danger, it was about destiny. God is serious about your future, and anyone who threatens that, even unintentionally, will be removed for your protection. You may feel alone now, but you are not. God is filling in every empty space. He is wrapping you in His presence. You are not walking into an ending. You are stepping into the beginning of everything you've been praying for. It may look like loss, but it's divine transition. The truth is, your heart was always too big for a one-sided connection. Your faith was always too deep for someone who didn't walk with God. Your purpose was always too bright for someone who chose to live in shadows. And now that you've let go, heaven is releasing what's been waiting for you all along. God is bringing new relationships, pure, peaceful, God-ordained. The kind that don't drain you but water you. The kind that make you feel safe, not small. The kind that help you grow closer to God, not farther away. You won't have to guess if they care. You won't have to wonder if they're hiding anything. The people God sends will reflect the same love He gives, steady, patient, true. You've crossed into a new place, and while you may still feel the pull of old emotions, remember that feelings aren't facts. Just because your heart remembers doesn't mean your spirit should return. You are free now. You've done the hard part. You listened. You let go. You obeyed. And now the harvest is coming. This season will be one of refreshing, a rebuilding of your heart, a renewing of your mind. The energy you once gave to overthinking will now be filled with praise. The time you used to spend trying to fix things will now be spent creating and growing. What was once heavy will become holy. What was once confusing will become clear. What if 7 seconds is all it takes to flip your financial fate? A shocking CIA leak just exposed a hidden brain ritual helping ordinary people erase debt and pull in massive wealth. Backed by 4 neuroscience labs, this at-home method is turning struggle into luxury fast. But this page could be erased any moment. Click the link in the first comment now before it's gone forever. God has seen your faithfulness. He has watched you hold on to Him while everything else was being stripped away. That is the kind of trust He blesses. And He is blessing you now, quietly, deeply, faithfully. You may not see it all yet, but things are shifting. Doors are opening. Opportunities are being prepared. You are being aligned with people and places that will honor your calling. There's no need to fear what's ahead. You're not starting over. You're starting fresh, with more wisdom, more peace, more fire in your spirit, more grace in your step. This time, you will walk with your head high, not because of pride, but because you finally understand who you are. And who you are is not someone who settles, compromises, or stays silent when God speaks. This time, you will choose yourself the way God chooses you, with purpose, with tenderness, with courage. You will no longer delay your growth to protect someone else's comfort. You will no longer apologize for following where God leads you. The person with the name starting with J may not have been the storm, but they were the cloud blocking your sun. And now that the cloud is gone, you will see clearly again. You will feel light again. You will know that God didn't just take something away. He handed you your peace back. You were walking with a weight that felt familiar, but God knew it was stealing your strength. He saw what was happening quietly in your soul, behind your smile, behind your prayers, in the moments when you felt yourself slowly fading. He knows every part of you, and this moment is proof that he will not sit by and watch you be diminished. There is power in this part of your life, even if it still feels tender, even if the pain still lingers, even if you wonder some days if you misunderstood. You didn't. Your heart heard clearly. The warning was not a mistake. The pulling away was not just emotional exhaustion, it was God separating you from what would have held you hostage in the next season. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not cold for letting go. You are brave. And you are finally walking into the light that was waiting for you all along. Some people come into your life not to stay, but to teach. And what this person showed you, intentionally or not, is how easily peace can be replaced with patterns. How quickly your purpose can be delayed when your spirit is tangled in someone who was never meant to carry it with you. You tried, you prayed, you hoped, and God saw it all. But He knew the timing. He knew when it would be too much, and that's why He stepped in now. Not because you were failing, but because you were about to forget how powerful you truly are when you're not constantly trying to fix someone who doesn't want to be healed. Comment 1515. If you believe God is restoring your soul and preparing a new beginning for you, you don't have to carry shame for loving someone who wasn't meant for you. You don't have to beat yourself up for trusting them. God doesn't hold that against you. In fact, He honors your heart. He honors the compassion, the loyalty, the patience you gave. But He also loves you too much to let those same qualities be taken for granted. That's why He's calling you higher. That's why He's saying it's time to come up from the place of emotional compromise. That's why He's drawing you closer now, into a space where His voice is the loudest again. You're going to feel lighter soon. You're going to wake up without the heaviness. You're going to stop replaying old conversations in your mind. The guilt, the questioning, the longing, it's all going to fade, and in its place will be something unshakable: peace. Not peace that depends on someone else being in your life, but peace that flows from knowing God has you fully, completely, without needing to explain anything to anyone else. You are being rebuilt from the inside out. And what God is putting back together in you is stronger, softer, purer, and more rooted in Him. The things you used to tolerate will no longer interest you. The places you once sought validation will no longer hold power. That's what healing in God's presence does. It frees you without bitterness. It strengthens you without hardness. It teaches you how to love without losing yourself. You are not being punished with loneliness. You are being gifted with clarity. God removed what had access to your heart, not because He wanted you to suffer, but because He needed you to remember how sacred your spirit is, how valuable your energy is, how precious your peace is. The person whose name began with J may not have understood that, but your Father in heaven does, and He is making sure you never forget it again. This next part of your life will feel different. You'll start to notice how still your mind becomes, how deeply you can breathe again, how sweet time with God feels when you're not preoccupied with someone who constantly took more than they gave. You'll recognize the quiet joy that returns when your heart is no longer afraid of being disappointed again. This is where the rebuilding begins. This is where beauty rises from ashes. There is no rush. God is not pushing you to pretend. You don't need to fake strength. You don't need to act like none of it mattered. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to miss what you thought it was. You're allowed to grieve the version of the future you imagined. But even as you do, God is sitting with you, holding you, whispering into the deep places of your heart that it's going to be okay, and not just okay, but better than you imagined.